a lot of the things I share in my book is that it's not all sitting by a pool with a laptop, like
Yeah.
perfect. I
Seriously? That's what I heard on Instagram.
Yeah, I nearly fit. I made my flight by 1 minute this morning.
My
I
God.
went to get a blood test because I am traveling so much that I have to do all the life admin stuff. I got a haircut yesterday, went to the doctor. Okay, we'll do your annual checkup, we'll do your bloods. And it's like, well, if I don't go today, then I can't see the doctor again before I go to America next week. And it's like
Mhm.
3 weeks. So that was a reality of something I had to do today, but I left myself a bit short time. Had 3 suitcases because I now travel with a bag of books everywhere. And I was like, you know, flapping about to get to I still took a selfie, as my friend pointed out, with 10 minutes. Like, she's like, so you took a selfie and then you complained about being 1 minute with 1 minute to spare. I was like, well, you got to document the
I've got to,
situation.
that's right. That's right. The people need to know.
And then, I'm at my dad's house in Sydney, which is fantastic. I get the use of a car, I get the use of my dad's house. But then, I'm doing this podcast with you, and my dad just came in, and then, the wind's going and the internet wasn't working in the front room. So, I mean, I think sometimes there's going to be some juggling and it's not going
Mhm.
to look perfect. And so you have to be willing in anything, but anything good, to do some sacrifice and to have some challenge. Like, I don't actually like working by the pool because it's windy. I'd rather be in the pool. So I actually like working in a dark room faster and like more concentrated. And then I go outside and I enjoy the pool and the sunshine. It's finding what works for you. And I did put a chapter in, and it came off the back of actually an article I wrote 6 years ago. It's funny how things all sort of come together. And I wrote this article about how I run my business and travel the world for She to Find magazine. And I shared some tips in there, and it's things like planning as best you can, planning ahead. So if you have a podcast interview, making sure you're in a place where there's internet. So did okay with that today. Communicating. So I did try that too. Communicating. I'm not going to be available between 3:30 and 4:30 because I have a call with Danielle. Um, Sometimes doing the work, if you do know that you're going to be traveling, like, doing any big sending of files or meetings. I've just
Mhm.
moved a bunch of meetings because they were going to end up being like at 10 p.m. in the USA. And I was like, I might be jet lagged. I'm going to have a busier few days, Monday, Tuesday, so that I have the rest of the week free. Really looking ahead to that. And then there's some things like budgeting. If you're like, oh, I can't travel because I run a business. And it's like, well, sometimes it costs as much overseas as it does at home. Or because you're at home, you go, well, I'll just have a coffee and I'll just buy this thing and I'll just do that. When I'm away, I'm very conscious while I'm traveling of how much I've spent. And so I look ahead and I plan and I budget for that. And so it's all factored in. And I'm
Mhm.
really just moving. Look, the way I run my business is always the way I run my business, from a laptop and a phone. This is the office. I take it with me. And then, that's all sort of budgeted in. So there's a few tips in there, but I just think, stop telling yourself you can't do it as well. You'll find a lot of reasons why you can't. And you'll find, maybe, like I said, you go and you try do the buy the pool thing and you don't like it, but then try a different way. And I just was on a cruise ship and I was sitting on the balcony of our room, because we book a balcony room, and I worked for 3.5 hours. And it was very nice. Some people would hate that. They're like, I don't want to, if I'm going on a cruise, I want to have a holiday. But they travel as much as I do, I
Mhm.
work. And that's the sacrifice or the choice. But I really enjoyed my work looking out at the ocean. I enjoy my work. I enjoyed being on a boat. I communicated to my family that's what I needed. And it worked.
I love it. And I love the philosophy that anything is actually possible. You can find a million reasons not to do things and why it won't work for you. But if you really want it, you can actually sit down and go through that process of figuring out the logistics, the budget, the how, the when, the why. It is actually all doable.
The time zones. Yeah, I've stuffed this one up a few times lately. Just even in Australia, we have the hour difference and it just messes you about. So the clock app and notes app are like my favorite things on my phone. Clock, calendar, notes. I think WhatsApp, they're probably the apps I use the most.
Yeah, it's so true. Like time zone math has got to be like the one of the mysteries of the world.
You think you've got it, you think you know, and that's why I was like, "You know what? I don't think my brain's quite there this week, so I'm gonna move everything next week and bring it forward." So that's, yeah, past Emma helping future no, well, yeah, current Emma helping future Emma from past Emma's errors.
Oh my God, I love it so much. And it's just such a cool idea as well. Oftentimes we work so hard for that one holiday a year, and sure, a lot of us have jobs that are businesses that are fulfilling. So we do get a level of satisfaction from the work we do. But I just love the idea of incorporating leisure, pleasure, life into work. This idea that we don't have to work for 11 out of 12 months and just wait for that time of year. That idea that we can actually have relaxation, rest, experiences, opportunities now in amongst the work.